everything you do, you want to start fast. Practice, you want to go out there and execute every play at a high level. And like you said, it's all about the way you start. It starts, just gives you I feel like the energy and just keeps you focused on the day at hand. Versus a bad start, slow start, things like that. But no, I mean it's one thing that we've focused on, and it's definitely been a big focus for us the past 2 years as well. Is just as an offense, how do we come out, start as fast as possible, try and go down on that first drive and get points, because I think it sets you up for the rest of the game, and it just puts you in a great spot, gives guys that confidence to keep going and executing.
You connected with so many different guys Sunday. Just how the array of weapons you have this year, how does that compare to the past, and how helpful has it been? Do you think it will be for you this year?
Yeah, no, I think it's a group that we've had, and then I think we've just added even more with MG and Say. So, I think that's always been a cool part about our offense. Is we got so many weapons all across the board, and guys who can actually come in and have an impact every time they're on the field and touching the ball. So we got some really cool playmakers, which makes my job fun, trying to spread the love around and spread the ball around and get all these guys touches. But I think to that part too, it just puts a little bit more stress on the defense of who they want to try and put their best guys on and spend more time trying to cover. So just keeps them on their heels a little bit.
At the end of last game, end of the game, I asked you if there's anything you left out on the field. What was it? Now that you've had a chance to go back and watch film, anything in specific that stuck out to you that you say, okay, we definitely need to correct that in the second half?
Yeah, I think, like I said, that second half just coming out. I think the first half, the thing that was so cool is just how we were able to execute on third downs and stay on the field and extend those drives. And, if you do that, it's going to lead to points. So I think that was the thing that was a little disappointing is we didn't execute at that same level on third down. And at the same time, just every drive, we didn't, take advantage and go put that nail in the coffin. So there's some stuff to clean up, but not anything that, lose sleep over. It's just a couple things that we got to just tighten up.
Jordan, I know you between series you're looking at the tablets and talking to the guys on the coaches and all that. But did you at all find yourself looking up just to see what Micah might do when he was out there more than usual? Or?
Definitely. I think anytime we get done doing what we're doing, looking at the tablets and just seeing what the defense was doing on the last drive, I always want to go over and just see what the defense is doing. Watch those guys. And DA made a point to me earlier on in the week. He said, "Man, it's gonna be a show we're gonna put on. So you want to come watch this?" So no, I was definitely tapped into the defense, see what they were doing, and obviously want to see what Michael was doing. But just all those guys, and I think they did such a great job. They're flying around. The energy on defense was phenomenal. You got a lot of guys flying to the ball, making big time plays. So. Anytime that's happening, you want to see what's going on and keep trying to match that same energy on offense.
In terms of complementary football, how much not that offensively every time you get the ball you want to score, but knowing that you don't necessarily have to because you have that defense that you can rely on, how much pressure does that take off?
I think that's one of those things that you try not to think about. We know we got a good defense, but at the same time, we're focused on us on offense. We're going to go out there and be the best offense, and the goal is to score every time we touch the field. So we're never trying to leave anything out there. But like you said, a point is to start fast, and we want to be able to put up points because we know if we can get a lead, we got a good defense. They're a hard defense to be able to drive the full length of the field and put up points. So you don't see too many big time explosive plays. I feel like from this style of defense that we play, they try and keep that shell over it and not give up those big explosive plays. So like you said, it's nice knowing you got a really good defense out there, but on offense, I'm trying to score every time we get the ball.
Does it ever factor into your decision making on a critical third down? You got a really tight window. Maybe you don't have to force it because the punt's not the worst thing.
Yeah, I think that's just playing the quarterback position. That's understanding and getting better at the position. Just understanding each situation. What the score is. Trying to force the ball versus not trying to force the ball, and understanding that a punt is not the end of the day. You'd rather that than a turnover or anything like that. So just understanding each situation and playing the play out and knowing that taking care of the ball is the most important part. It starts with that, and defense is going to win a couple of times. So a punt is never the worst thing, but at the same time, we want to go out there and execute at a high level. But there's situational awareness plays a part in that.
So Jordan, back in the 90s when Favre was the quarterback, Leroy Butler and Reggie White would tell him, hey, you can take some chances, we'll get you the ball back. You're not gonna, you can't get yourself to be that way. You're always gonna be taking care of the ball, or do you think maybe this does free you up to maybe take a chance or two once in a while?
No, I mean, my style of play, I love. I'm gonna try and put the ball down, move the ball down the field.
Jordan answered.
It's all good.
He's got you up,
Decisions.
down, up, down.
Yeah, that's a finable offense in our meetings.
Push-ups and you can come back in.
All right.
Gasser.
No.
Your style of play, taking chances.
Yeah, I think I'm a very aggressive quarterback. I'm always trying to push the ball down the field and give my guys chances and trust that they're going to go out there and make plays. But it's that fine line of understanding, we don't want to turn the ball over too. So, I think the defense, I love that mindset. I want them to go out there and be aggressive, try and hunt for that ball, get strip sacks, get fumbles, get interceptions. But I don't think that plays a part in how we operate on offense.
What happened on the play before the pick six that you threw it to the left to Tucker, and again, watching it, kind of looked like it was almost like a no-look pass, and then Anzalone got his hands on it. Is that an accurate or inaccurate description of what happened there?
No, so that one, I was reading the concept, got back to MG, who was running a shake route, and it was just a little indecision right there. I was waiting on him to win. Felt like it was just taking a minute, and at the last second, I felt the rush about to get there, and I was really trying to throw it away, and it was just one of those moments where it's indecision, and threw it right to him, and I'm really glad he dropped it, but just not a great play by me. One thing that I got to learn from and move on and just throw the ball away, but just indecision right there.
Jordan, when you come off game one of Lions team that like to play physical, you have a short turnaround. Do you feel like you're being challenged more physically, even throwing in the thumb, or is it more just like mentally at this stage?
You're saying on the short week?
Yeah, just like trying to get prepared for it. Are you being more challenged mentally or physically, right?
No, I think it's both of those. It's a big test. I think for everybody on the team, the short week is tough on your body. You go from playing that Sunday game to a Thursday game. It's how can I get my body back as fast as possible, because it's not the norm. It's not a normal week. And then, you add in trying to game plan and watch as much film as possible in a short week. It's tough. So it's both mentally and physically challenging. But I think coming off a week one game, it's not later on in the season where your body might be a little bit more banged up. It's a little easier on the body, but it's always the both mentally and physically challenging.
Did you guys pause the tape, or Matt pause the tape at all when you're going back at some of those Jacobs and Brooks blitz pickups that you guys had on Sunday? And how important is that just to give you guys time?
Oh yeah, no, we made a big point about it, and just how good of a job they did. Those are the plays right there that allow us to go out there and execute those third downs and keep staying on the field and getting points. So definitely made a big point, because those guys specifically did a great job just staying in there, picking up the blitzes, throwing linebackers off, picking up D linemen, and then especially the O-line. They did a great job just keeping me clean and giving me time right there. So that was a big test, but no, we definitely made a point of it, and it's one thing that we got to keep going, keep building on that. But they did a great job.
Jordan, you mentioned rotating receivers in and out like you guys have been doing. Do you know who's going to be in based on play? Do you have to take account who's on the field when you're in the huddle? And then how do you process that? Because you got guys who run different ways and are bigger than others and kind of have like an array of receivers. Is that stuff you have to process on the run?
Yeah, there's always stuff. We go into the game with a certain plan. We'll rep plays in practice throughout the week of, these might be these guys' plays, and you kind of want to stay with that because we've got banked reps throughout practice. But, things happen, injuries happen, guys might be tired where other guys got to come in on certain plays. So it's one of those things, you just got to be ready for whoever. And that's why we do so much throughout training camp of getting different looks, letting different guys be in there on different routes, and not just trying to have one guy be this, this plays for you type sort of thing. So it's one of those things where you always got to be ready to adjust on the fly, because things happen throughout a game. But, I got confidence in all those guys that whoever's out there is going to go make plays. And, sometimes I don't even know who's out there sometimes. It's just kind of X's at a spot sometimes. So that's kind of how our offense is. But, yeah, you never know sometimes.
Jordan, you mentioned on Sunday after the game, you called the pass protection dominant that you got. You may have a couple of moving parts up front on Thursday night. Just how do you feel about the depth of the guys that you got in front of you?
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where obviously we, depending on what happens going into Thursday, we might have some guys out there who haven't been out there. So it's one of those things where, you just got to adjust on the fly. We got to get those guys as many reps in these walkthroughs and things like that, just hearing the calls, knowing the calls. But these guys are all pros. I got confidence in them that they'll be able to go out there and do their job and execute at a high level. And it's just a matter of getting your mind mentally ready for whatever might happen.
I know it's a small sample size, but after watching game number 1, just how much is this team capable of this season?
A lot. I think we got a really good team. And I think that's one thing we've known. But, a roster is just one thing. We got to go out there on Sunday, Thursday, whatever day it is, and play our best ball and execute at a high level. And I think, that was the cool part about Sunday was that's what we did. That first half, we went out there on all 3 phases, and we're playing at a very high level. So it's one of those things we got to keep up. And obviously, each week is a new test and a new team coming in here. So, it's a great start, but we just got to keep building off it.
More for Jordan.
Offensive numbers usually in primetime games. Do you like playing in primetime games? Anything different about those?
I like playing in whatever game. No matter what game it is, I'm ready. Obviously, we don't get to pick and choose which games or prime time, things like that. But man, every game is an opportunity to go out there and win the game. So it doesn't matter when it is, what time, where we're playing at. I'm ready for each game.
Jordan, it had been a while since you've been able to go out in the game and throw with no soreness, no nothing. You're lower half, obviously. How different, how much better does it feel throwing the ball when you're good there? And is that okay with the accuracy?
No, I mean it's very fun and a good feeling, when you're not dealing with things like you said, like I was last year. But it's one of those things where whatever you might throughout the season, you're going to have soreness and be dealing with bumps and bruises. So just got to do your best throughout the week, try and get ready. But to your point, it's a nice feeling not dealing with certain things for sure.
How much closer to 100% are you on the thumb?
Feel good.
Hey Jordan, just want to ask you quick. I know you've been the face of the team here for quite a while, but just your journey, being able to have that C on your chest now, just kind of what did that mean to you? And obviously, as one of the faces of this team.
No, it's a small thing, but it's definitely cool. I think it's one of those things that we wanted to have back. We haven't done that in a couple of years, and I think for the guys that did get voted captain, I think it's just a cool recognition. I think the other guys who got voted captain have done a great job. Putting in a little bit extra work and trying to step up as leaders of the team. So it's one of those things where. It doesn't mean much, but it's a cool kind of side thing to have that C on your chest. But it's one of those things you got to keep showing up and earning that every day.